What is up, guys? Welcome back. We got another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show for you. It's Monday night. We got the Cowboys and the Texans probably going on in about 2 or 3 hours. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over the post-game notes from week number 11. That's going to be looking at all the box scores, the snaps, the routes, and everything that's important. If you guys are not a member of the Fantasy Fellowship, this is the waiver wire favorite ad section. I'm just going to kind of let you guys look at this. If you guys do want to become a member, check it out, fantasyfellowship.com. But for quarterback favorite ads this week, if you need a QB, there's 6 teams on bye. So we have, I don't have them in there, but there's 6 teams on bye. Jared Goff at Indianapolis, Matthew Stafford versus Philly, Anthony Richardson against Detroit, and Geno Smith versus Arizona. Those are the quarterback spots that I like. Running back, I'm sorry, there's no clear must add at the running back position. If you guys want to check out the waiver wire column, I do list out the running backs that I like and some preferences and things like that. But you want to keep adding handcuffs, Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Cam Akers, those RB2s that could be just one injury away from being a starting running back. Roschon Johnson's another one. It's another good week for wide receiver. I'm assuming Jerry Jeudy, Rome Odunze, Quentin Johnston, Christian Watson, Xavier Legette. I'm assuming most of these guys are gone, but if you can get MVS, Elijah Moore, Ray McLeod, we saw Darnell Mooney get hurt with a hamstring injury, Wan'Dale Robinson, Ricky Pearsall, Jalen Coker, Adam Thielen, Kendrick Bourne, Nick Westbrook, Ikine. These are some deeper options for you. It's a good week for tight ends. Hopefully you already had Taysom Hill. If not, get Taysom Hill, Johnny Smith, Will Dissly. And then defenses this week, Chiefs at Carolina is a smash spot, Commanders versus Dallas, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against Tommy DeVito in the New York Giants. So check that out, fantasyfellowship.com. But let's get right into it. I'm going to keep this video about 12-15 minutes long. And again, this is a members article here. If you guys want to become a member of the fellowship, you guys will get access to these post-game notes. There's a downloadable format for it as well. And we're just going to look at the box scores and the routes and the snaps. So this is from Thursday Night Football, Eagles 26, Commanders 18. Not too much to learn from this one. We know that how the Eagles operate. It's A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. They're going to be the primary wide receivers. Dallas Goedert looking better. 63 snaps, 29 of the 34 routes, 5 receptions for 61 yards. That's pretty good usage. He actually played better than Devonta Smith in this one. So there is room for 2 of these receivers to eat in every Eagles game. Devonta Smith was the odd man out in this one. So I do think Goddard's a fringe tight end one going forward. And then there's not much to say between Barkley and Jalen Hurts. Both these guys are playing lights out right now. Saquon Barkley looking like a league-winning pick. So nothing new on the Eagles to learn. Commanders, nothing new, but I really like how they use both running backs, Brian Robinson and Eckler, with 66 total snaps in the game. They used these guys on the field at the same time. You saw 35 snaps for B-Rob, 34 for Eckler. Eckler remains the primary passing down back. He had 9 targets, 8 catches, 89 yards. B-Rob got a little bit of routes in there, but Eckler is the primary receiving back. Only 2 carries for 7 yards, but he made your day in the receiving column in a full PPR. And B-Rob continues to look good running the ball, 16 for 63 and a touchdown. This one, it was just Jaden Daniels didn't really have a good game. None of his receivers had more than 1 catch. It was all Zach Ertz, 6 for 47 and a touchdown, who was the streaming tight end that we mentioned last week here. But Daniels couldn't really hit anything outside or down the field. The Eagles defense is starting to play really well. I still like Noah Brown as a deep sleeper hold in a better matchup. Maybe Noah Brown could be a guy here, but look for the, Terry McLaurin bounce back. I still think Zach Ertz is streamable. You're starting B-Rob if you have him, and you can start Eckler in PPR leagues. And we'll see if Jaden Daniels can bounce back. This is a bad game from him. He still got 13 fantasy points. Packers 20, Bears 19. We'll start with the Bears because they have the new offensive coordinator, and we saw a little bit of shift in how they operate. So it's still the same 3 receivers, DJ, Keenan, and Rome. These guys are the 3 receivers that are going to run all the routes. You can see DeAndre Carter, Tyler Scott. These guys didn't even get a route. So all 3 of these guys are startable. Keenan Allen is probably who I would rank 3rd. If I'm starting Bears receivers, I would rank them DJ, Odunze, Keenan Allen 3rd. And right now, man, Caleb Williams threw the ball 39 times with this new offensive system, 231 yards, no touchdowns, but he's running the ball, which I think could be boosting him back up to like a super flex QB2. I don't know if he's quite there as a QB1 for streaming purposes, but I think super flex leagues, he's back into our good graces. And then the running back split here. This is the main thing to take away. DeAndre Swift, 41 snaps. Roschon played 30 snaps, which is a season high for him. 19 routes for Swift, 14 for Roschon. And then look at the carries over here. 14 for Swift, 10 for Roschon. He did get a goal line touchdown. Swift had the big long touchdown run. Roschon Johnson, if this is going to be his usage going forward, 10 to 12 touches per game, chance at a goal line touchdown, he's going to have some streaming options for RB2 flex consideration. So still start DeAndre Swift. You can still start DJ Moore. This was a better game for him, 7 for 62 in this one. But Odunze might be hopping him. I'm not quite sure. 6 receptions for 65 yards on a team high 10 targets. And Cole Kmet, kind of not really a guy I'm super excited about. 3 for 42. He's out there for all the routes though. So in streaming, deep streaming tight end options, you can use Cole Kmet. The Packers, not too much to learn here. Tucker Kraft had a dud, just 1 target, no receptions. Jordan Love only threw the ball 17 times. I believe they had 24 minutes in the time of possession department. And for Love to still get there, he got 20 points and they only played 24 minutes. So that's, 2 or 3 drives less than that they normally would have. But he played well, did throw a red zone interception, and they got stuffed. They came up just short on a 4th down and goal conversion here. So they could have had 1 or 2 more touchdowns added to some of this column. But Love remains a top 10 QB. Josh Jacobs remains a top 5, top 10 running back option. Chris Brooks has seemed to hop Emmanuel Wilson. They use him in pass protection, and he runs routes. He's catching passes. No carries for Brooks. They gave those to Wilson, but there's a little bit of committee here, RB2 for the Packers. And then the receivers, Dontavian Wicks only ran 6 routes in this game. They're running Dobbs, Watson, and Reed as the primary 3 wide receivers. Watson got home on this one, 4 for 150. He's going to be a flex option going forward. I still think you can, Reed's kind of falling down to like a solid wide receiver 2, more of a wide receiver 3 now. Dobbs and Watson are kind of in that wide receiver 3 flex range. So I don't really want to take away too much from the Packer game. Only 17 passing attempts here, but they'll be bouncing back, I believe. Lions 52, Jags 6. Not much to learn from this one, guys. Lions completely wiped the floor with the Jags. Going into Indianapolis next week, you're starting Amon-Ra, you're starting Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think Jared Goff is a top 10, top 12 quarterback for this week coming in. Tim Patrick running more snaps. He's a good blocker. 3 for 26, though. Jameson Williams still operating as the number 2 receiver in terms of routes. He got open deep, 4 for 124 and a touchdown. This is what he does. He's a boom bust wide receiver 3. He's a guy that can take any big play to the house, and he's going to continue to be a flex option for you. And then Brock Wright filled in for Sam Laporta. Only 1 catch, but it was for a touchdown. Laporta, if he comes back, we're playing Laporta. So nothing new on the Lions. The Jags, no Tank Bigsby in this one, and you saw ETN get 35 snaps, which was nice to see. Looks like I just missed the quarterback cutoff here, so I'll have to get Mac Jones's numbers in there. Mac Jones didn't play he played fine. The Jags got completely demolished in this one. Travis Etienne had no room to run, 12 for 27, a few catches. The only bright spot here for this team was Brian Thomas Jr., 5 for 82. He did have a big catch called back as well. It was so close. So BTJ might be the only guy BTJ and Ingram are probably the only 2 guys that I think can stay in your fantasy lineups after the Jags bye, and then we'll see Tank Bigsby come back. So the running backs are kind of probably shot. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to come back and play. Maybe we see him for a game or 2. I'm not quite sure, assuming Doug Peterson gets the axe over the bye week. And then I did see Gabe Davis lost for the season here. So the Jags just completely swirled down the toilet in this one. Dolphins 34, Raiders 19. All right, what can we learn about the Dolphins? Jalen Waddle, man, he's just kind of running a lot of routes and not getting targets. The big one here is Jonnu Smith, 6 for 101 and 2 touchdowns, 8 targets on the day. This looks like a guy that can be your streaming tight end 1. So on the waiver wires, I like Jonnu Smith. Devon Achane, nothing to say here. He's just continuing to dominate. 17 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. Pass catching role. Jalen Wright was the one that I've been monitoring here, and he's hopped Raheem Mostert, like 5 carries to Mostert's 3. He's getting routes now. He's getting catches. I think Raheem Mostert's probably droppable in most formats. Tua played really well, very efficient in this one, and Tyreek had a nice game too. I think for Waddle, I'm not going to blame you if you want to bench Jalen Waddle. He just has not been performing very well. He's more of a borderline wide receiver 3 flex. So you're starting Tyreek and Achane. You can consider Tua this week on on a heavy bye week here. And then I do think Jonnu Smith should be picked up and potentially streamed. The Raiders, solid numbers here from Gardner Minshew. This is probably one of his best fantasy games all year that we're going to see, and all of it was tied to Brock Bowers. He's really the only guy that should be starting in your lineups for the Raiders. 13 for 126 and a touchdown, 16 targets. He also got a carry for -3 yards, whatever. Otherwise, Trey Tucker continues to run a lot of snaps. Jacoby Myers, a lot of snaps and routes. That's their 2 wide receiver set. You can play Jacoby in deep wide receiver 3 flex leagues. Like, I might prefer playing Jacoby over Jalen Waddle at this point. That's kind of the same tier that they're in. And then we got to watch for the running backs because I believe Abdullah played the most because Zamir White and Madison both got hurt. So we're going to be watching the practice reports for these guys. Amir Abdullah might be worth looking into. He's not going to be a guy that gets a lot of carries, but I'm very curious to see how these practice reports go. You can maybe add Zamir White, assuming Madison's already been picked up. We'll watch for those reports. But nothing crazy to learn from the Raiders in this one. We'll cover the Rams and the Patriots, and then I'll sign off, and then I'll continue the video for the members. Rams 28, Patriots 22. Nothing really to learn here from the Rams. They continue to run their primary 3 wide receiver sets through DeMarcus, Puka, and Cooper Kupp. Just a few routes for Tutu, Atwell, Tyler Johnson, and Whittington. These guys shouldn't be rostered in most leagues here. Tight ends, Davis Allen ran the most routes. He is the tight end 1 now in terms of pass catching role, but Colby Parkinson caught the 1 target for a touchdown. I'm not starting a Rams tight end right now. I don't even want to roster a Rams tight end right now. Kieran Williams, no targets in this one, was weird. Still got 15 for 86 as a rusher. They're using Blake Corum a little bit more, 5 for 21 as a ball carrier. And we had, it looks like I have the snaps wrong here. 3 snaps, 3 routes. I have to get those snaps right because he had 5 carries. So I'll get that updated. Again, my apologies there. And Stafford balled out in this one. It was mostly because Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua balled out. But Stafford, definitely a tough matchup against Philadelphia in week 12 here, but you could use him. Nothing really to learn from the Rams. The Patriots, a little bit to learn here. Drake May looks good, 30 for 40, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. Carries the ball well. He's a fringe QB1, and I think next year in fantasy we're going to be thinking about him as a QB1. So I like what I'm seeing from Drake May. He's not afraid to sling it, and they have kind of consolidated down to a 3 wide receiver set. Kayshon Boutte, he is their number 1 receiver. You can see the terms of snaps: 73 out of 76 snaps, 45 of 46 routes, 4 receptions for 6 targets. I believe he's had 6 targets in 4 straight games now. So 7.3 points is low. But there might be something here where we could start him in the future. Demario Douglas, wide receiver 2, 5 for 59. He's a low-end wide receiver 3 flex, kind of in that Jacoby Myers, Jalen Waddle tier for me. And then Kendrick Bourne, who they basically benched last week, said they're going to play their rookies. Well, he got back into the lineup this weekend, and he looked like their best receiver. 5 for 70 and a touchdown on 5 targets. You could add Boot. You can add Bourne. Patriots receivers have life here, and especially Hunter Henry, 6 for 63. I think there's potential. You can see here, 14 points for Hunter Henry, 18 for Bourne, almost 11 for Douglas, and about 7 for Kayshon Boutte. There's room for 3-4 receiving options to get some run here. So Ramondre remains the RB1, but overall I like what I'm seeing from the New England Patriots passing game. So I'll give you guys a quick peek here at the final one, but we're going to sign off for the free video. If you guys want to check it out, go see thefantasyfellowship.com, become a member. I'll have that video posted there in the post-game notes. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game. We'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Waiver Wire stream at 7 o'clock Central Time. Peace. Got me feeling icy.